Good afternoon and welcome to our pinhole quilting showroom. It's a lovely Friday afternoon here in Worcestershire and elsewhere in the UK. Maybe depending on your time zone, this is like early evening or you're just getting up for the day and you've got your Friday ahead of you. Whatever it is, welcome to our Facebook Live. We're posting it on YouTube afterwards, sometime over the weekend. It takes a while to upload, so we look forward to any comments that you've got or any feedback that you have on our Facebook Live, on the pages of Facebook or on YouTube, whichever you feel like doing. So it's me and Pete. Pete's behind the camera. He's answering any questions as much as he can while still doing the cameraman bit. How are you feeling today, Pete? Are you feeling good today?
I'm feeling good, thank you very much, yes.
Good, that's good to hear. Pete and I were separated for 2 whole days this week because I've been up in the north of England seeing some lovely customers up in that area. And we took, I should start with a quick apology that we're a few minutes late because we've just had a meeting with someone and it's about the sort of future developments within pinhole quilting. So we're pretty excited about that and more news on that will come in due course. We'll keep you waiting and on tenterhooks, as they say. Okay, well, it's as I say, it's been a busy week. Wednesday, Thursday, I went up to see Stuart Hillard, who's our Handy Quilter ambassador, and he quilts with this very machine. It's the Handy Quilter Mara. It's a 20-inch throat space machine, and he's got it with the Pro Stitcher that we have on here as well. He uses it quite extensively for his samples when he's doing his quilts and things for some of the TV that he does and for his books. He's got a new book that will be coming out. He'll be launching it, like special early release copies will be available at the Festival of Quilts in August. So definitely go say hi to Stuart. We saw some of the quilts. He gave us a sneak peek at the open day that we had in the autumn last year, and it was great to see those quilts. And honestly, there are so many quilts that he had that I wanted to make, and he's bringing out some new fabric lines as well. So Stuart is a busy bee, just like he was on the sewing bee, and he was on that very first sewing bee, which I watched back recently. It was so great to see him. He's pretty much unchanged from the original Stuart that was on that program. So we spent almost a whole day together because he's got a unit up in Goole in Yorkshire where he keeps his machine, and we were moving it to the floor below. So he's got a bit more space, a bit more. I'll post some Facebook photos. I didn't post them. It's been quite busy, but I'll post those photos to show the space he's got. So he's got space in a single room with the 12-foot long arm. Doesn't look like it's very big in that space, so he'll be able to do some of his other work in there as well. So I did that and serviced his machine and then toddled off down to Scunthorpe and serviced another customer's machine the following day, and then saw another customer on the way back. That was lovely to catch up with Brenda. If you're watching, hi Brenda, in Leicestershire. So hi to both of those customers, Sandra and Brenda. Okay, anybody online, Pete? Or are we on our Todd?
Yes, winners again this week are Helen and Jeff in Northumberland.
Yay! Helen and Jeff in Northumberland, the Cloth House.
Thank you so much for your very nice review on Trustpilot,
we really
Helen and Jeff. Much appreciated.
Yes, really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
There's Joan up in the northwest.
Yes, hi Joan.
Isabel in Spain.
Isabel in Spain. Gosh, yes, now Spain would be nice.
Pauline Droy-Moore, who's waiting for her new Pro Stitcher Lite to be installed soon.
Yep, I'll be seeing you very soon, Pauline. I'm looking forward to a catch-up and to see what you've learned about rulers with Carolyn. That's great.
And we've got Sherilyn Bain.
Oh, yes, Sherilyn.
Yep, Mary up in Scotland. It's wet and blustery up at Mary McPhillips Land.
Oh, yes. So Mary's recently also had the Pro Stitcher Lite. So great. I hope you're getting on well with it, Mary. If you've got any questions, just let us know. And actually, if you have any things that you think might be useful for other people as well, do let me know, because I can always do like a video on simulation or something and post it. I know that Linda's planning to do more things on Pro Stitcher this year, videos and stuff. So do also check out Capricorn Quilting YouTube channel. And I know that she'll be uploading some more information for people using Pro Stitcher.
There's also the lovely Pat in Wisconsin, who regularly joins us.
Yes.
Whom we saw in Houston last week.
We did. Hi, Pat. Hi.
Wendy in Bristol.
Yeah. Hi, Wendy.
Julia Ewart.
Wendy with
also
her
in Northumberland.
Capri. And
Graham.
who's that?
Sorry?
Who was that?
Julia with her Amara Pro Stitcher.
Yes, Julia. Yep. Amara Pro Stitcher. Fantastic. And the lovely dogs.
And Graham with his Amara Pro Stitcher.
Yeah. Hi, Graham.
Audrey up in Scotland too.
I loved his quilt that he was doing last week, I think it was. I saw it posted. Audrey?
Audrey Richardson.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, hi, Audrey.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Sherilyn Bain is otherwise known as Sherry Bain in Shropshire.
Yes, different last night. It always confuses me because, it would be interesting to know, Sherry, if you've managed to get onto your Avanti Pro Stitcher yet. Otherwise, we need to have a catch-up, I think, don't we? So hopefully you have.
And the lovely Judy just round the corner from us.
The lovely Judy. Think of you often. We do.
And your home help.
And your home help. The lovely, lovely David. Okay, now, all of those hellos just kind of indicate how many people we have around the country that, we've had the pleasure of meeting. Some of you only online, but even Pat over in Wisconsin, we've had the pleasure of meeting in person. It's always lovely to have that opportunity to meet customers and to find out about your creative pursuits. The lovely thing about Facebook Live is that we connect with you here most Fridays. I've got an annoying fly around me, so excuse me. It's probably after my coffee, my lovely hazelnut coffee. Hazelnut coffee, we've just got some more in. And it's absolutely delicious. Littles, I can recommend it. I'm a bit of a hazelnut coffee fan since discovering it when I was in New Orleans, back in the 1990s, hanging out in the French Quarter, just spending my days drinking endless cups of coffee in a beautiful coffee house in the center of that amazing city. I was very, very fortunate to spend 3 weeks there, checking out the Jazz Festival, which was awesome. So here we go. Cheers to everybody who's having their cup of tea or their hazelnut coffee. One of my many nicknames is Captain Hazelnut. Fun fact. Right. So it's been a busy week, and one of the things that I was doing, and the header on our Facebook page, is this lovely panel. Okay. So this panel, which has come about as a result of a collaboration between a few people, myself, Carolyn, James, and Helen. Oh, excuse me. Helen
Burnham.
Thank you. I got Wareham in my head, and I couldn't get rid of Wareham. I knew it wasn't right. Helen Burnham. So with Helen, we'll be teaching feathers, and we have a different panel for that. But this is the one for our rulers and fills class. So these have just come in, hot off the press this morning, the big batch of them. These are my drawings printed out. The colours aren't very true to what's the printers. The printer's actually what I wanted. But these are going to be useful because I can sketch on here and kind of work out what designs I'm going to put where. So I thought it would be fun to show you how I would approach this. I have given it not as much thought as I would have liked in preparation for Facebook Live, but such is life because we had that meeting that I mentioned earlier. I haven't had as much time, and because I was out yesterday, to do this as I would have liked. But hey ho, this is what it's about when we do Facebook Live. So I have this lovely panel. On it, I've got 2 circles in a block. I've got a mitered corner block. I've got a couple of crosses here in a square, and I've got a square on point. It is the square on point I'm going to work on. So I'm going to flip it around, and I'm going to work on this. I'm going to stabilize my block. I'm going to show you how I would base this onto the surface without having to attach the whole thing to the top leader. I'm just going to leave the rest floating. And I'd already got my backing fabric on. I've just laid on a piece of sort of scrap wadding that isn't the right size, but I have a technique for joining the batting or wadding so that it doesn't show, and I might even show that, or will at least do it. I can show you a video of that as well. Now, I have got some threads that I'm going to use with this panel. I thought it would be fun to have a panel like this in colours that I love. Oops, touch my microphone. In colours that I love, and to put some glide threads together with it. So that's what I've done. So this is the kind of fun job I have. I lay out my fabric, and there's some pictures up on our website where you can buy these panels now. So we've got two different panels. We've called one, what have we called them, Pete? We've
called them the Perfect Ruler Practice Panel and the Perfect Feather Practice Panel.
Yeah.
So if you go to our website, handyquilter.co.uk, and just type in perfect in the search box, they will pop up.
Yeah, which is great, because we thought it would be, even if you can't come to the classes, that you've got the opportunity of purchasing these and using them for your practice. I will be stitching up one of these. Carolyn will be doing the same prior to the class in February. We've got a class in February and a class in April on these panels. There are still spaces on both of those classes at the moment, so do dive in, both for sit down and stand up customers. It includes these lovely panels, it includes your lunch, it's $18.50 for the day, and it includes the use of our machine, one per customer.
$18.50 for the day, I don't think.
$18.50 for the panel.
For the panel.
Includes the $18.50 for the panel.
Includes the panel, yes.
Yeah, did I get that wrong? Yeah, it's...
I was only half listening, so it might have been me that got it wrong. I don't want to accuse you.
Yeah, yes, £18.50, bargain. In fact, we pay you. No, it's $160 for the day, which includes the panel, which retails for £18.50. And it includes your lunch. And it includes teaching by both Carolyn and I. So we're looking forward to doing that. We love doing the teaching because, you know, people come on those classes and you see when they go home what they're able to do, and it's brilliant. It doesn't mean that you can do all that by the end of the class, but you will have all the skills and knowledge to be able to go home and practice. And practice is what it's about. Let me just show you the threads that we've put together for this. So we've got 9 threads, so it kind of makes the same number as... It does make the same number as a Glide Thread Club, what we call Glide Thread Club. You don't have to join a club. Glide Thread Club is so named just because that's what we called it. And this fly is very annoying. There's the blue. We've got a beautiful, this one is called Haze. And I would put this in here because I think that shows that off very nicely. And we've also got this one, which goes really well in here. And we've got Bone, the beautiful Bone. Bone is awesome. Look at Bone. Bone is amazing. Bone kind of pulls to lots of different things. Looks really good on the feathers panel in particular. Then we've got Tea-Berry. Tea-Berry, look at Tea-Berry, that's gorgeous. And we've got Sea Green. Look at Sea Green. Love Sea Green. We've got Pale Mist, which is going to look incredible on some of those light borders. And we've got Silver. Now, the reason I've put Silver in is I wanted to show you, if you have this pack of Glide threads, you can put them wherever you like. But the thing is about Silver is it really reflects and pulls to whatever you put it against. I don't know whether you can see, but I've literally, over here,
it looks... pure silver thread. It's very difficult to see on here, but actually... It looks like the same colour as the background.
Yeah, and over here?
And the same here.
It looks like it's blue. It's amazing. So the whole idea is for you to get an understanding of how threads look on different colours. I gradated these, so I designed this myself, on CorelDRAW with the aid of those 2 aforementioned people, which was brilliant input, so good when you collaborate with people. But then by grading it, you can see whether you like or don't like how it looks on a lighter or darker surface. And so I thought from a learning point of view, this would be a really valuable piece because we can go darker with this Tidewater if we wish, rather than going paler with Pale Mist. And in so doing, so you could do like one of these sides of the border with Pale Mist, you could do this side and this side, and you could do this side, and the bottom with Tidewater, and see the effect. You could even do 3 different ones. You could do one in silver. Listen, I'll leave it up to you. You are the creative people, right? So retail for Glide Thread Club, Pete, is
£31.50, which is 20% off standard price for Glide Thread. So this Mark's busy putting this one up online at the moment. It's a really nice collection. It's actually a curated thread collection because these colours do appear in other Glide Thread packs.
Exactly.
But it's specifically for these perfect panels, and it will also be called Perfect Thread Pack. So again, once it's online, that will be visible if you type in perfect.
Perfect. Thank you, Peter. Peter, perfect. Right, have a little bit more hazelnut. I'm going to flip this round. So I've just got one layer of wadding on this. I'll just use one layer because that's what our customers will be using in the class. So I'm going to go up to the edge of that, pop that under there and just pull it back. Doesn't matter if I don't get it perfectly straight. These panels are 70 centimeters by a meter wide. So I've gone the meter wide across the width, which is fine because I've got a 44-inch wide piece of fabric and there is extra on the sides. I'm going to put some side tension on in a moment, but before I do that, and you would have ironed it, I haven't ironed it. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter for me. I'm going to just hold it in place. And now you can use, if you have Pro Stitcher, you can use these channel locks to lock your wheels and to attach the fabric to the quilt backing and the wadding. You could, I'm just going to pull this, I'm going to move a bit further forward actually, because I wanted to demonstrate something. I realised I can't demo it if I do what I just did. There's a few different options for basting this on. You could go along the edge, like with a wavy line. We can, because it's such a wide space here that I'm not going to be quilting, because I'm going to start quilting here. You could just do a straight line. And the way that you can do that is, with the Amara and with the other machines as well, we can put our handlebars as far back as it will go against the take-up rail. On the Amara, I don't know whether you're aware, but these things that you adjust your handlebars with to bring them forward, tilt in, etc., they lock, but then once they're locked, you can actually rotate them so they're out of the way. For ages, I did not know that. And it was the lovely Derek, who's our engineer over in Northern Ireland, who actually said, did you know you can do this? But he said it in his Ulster accent, and I realised that, no, I didn't. I did not know that. So it makes it easier to put them against the take-up rail. What we can do is we can actually use the furthest reach of that take-up rail to put a pretty straight line, pretty much a straight line in. So you don't have to put your channel locks on. You could use your take-up rail. When there's no varying quantity of fabric like I have on here, because this is used for samples and things, and for just testing out machines, so it's a bit bouncy. There's quite a lot of fabric on there at the moment. You will find it easier if there isn't too much fabric on it. It should be a bit firmer. Your other option is to use these channel locks. So the channel locks can be used to lock either the wheels on the carriage or the wheels that are on the machine. So if I was to lock the wheels on the machine like this, that stops them going forward and back, so I get a horizontal line. This is how we based the quilt onto the frame in the first place. But with this particular one, I'm just obviously basting it onto the backing that I've loaded, and then I'm going to go around and I'm just floating it, like I say. So I can do that. Also, because I've got Pro Stitcher, I can put horizontal channel lock on, and now it's locked it on that horizontal line as well. I'll just put it forward a fraction. There we go. Okay, I'm going to start off with this very vibrant, you could say vibrant, it's like neon pink thread, so that you can see what I'm doing. And I'm just going to run through starting and stopping. I've got the sure foot on, which is the deeper ruler foot, because I'm going to be doing some ruler work on here. And so I've got that on. And I'm just going to see how straight I've got this on my frame by putting the channel lock on and just seeing if it runs along that line. Yeah, that's pretty good. Take that off. Happy with that. Run it along this one. I've got a laser light on this Amara, so it's literally, it is running along that line. Now I've got it in the right place. I'm just going to put a few pins just to hold it and stop it shifting. It's cotton wadding and it's cotton fabric. So we've had this printed on, I think it's 158 gram fabric. It's not a dense weave, so it's rather like a lot of cotton patchwork and quilting fabric. Because it's a practice piece, I didn't feel like we had to go for the cotton lawn or anything else like that, which actually isn't really so typical for quilting. So I've gone for this, which I think will work really well. Take off that lock, go back to where it was. So I'm going to pull up the thread to get the bobbin thread up. And this is how I would normally start my quilting. So I hold the thread in my left hand. It's fairly long, this top thread. I just do a double check of the amount of tension on the top, make sure that's reasonable. I haven't seen how much bobbin thread there is. I'll just, I'm going to play Russian roulette with the bobbin thread. So then I pull up the bobbin thread, which is a cream, it's a light. And then I go back to the original hole. And for most machines, I'll just do needle up, needle down a few times. Perhaps back along the line of stitching. With the Amara, there's actually a tie-off button that you can press. You set it for however many tie-off stitches you want to do, and it's programmed as the star key. So if I press that, it'll just do like a little tie-off. Let's just go to the machine, we can see that. You set the number of tie-off stitches in the settings menu, and you can do anything between 1.
It's 2 actually, 2 and 10.
I'd never tried 1 before. It's only when you're doing it live on Facebook that you find out. Pete knows these things. So it was on 4, which is fine for glide. So let's just go back to our home screen. Let's just talk about setting. So we're just going to baste this fabric onto the frame. So I will go to a lower setting and bigger stitch rather. So I'll just go to 6 stitches per inch. And it's in regulated, it's in cruise. Actually, I don't know. I wonder if people do precision or cruise when they're basting. I tend to do cruise, but yeah. I don't think I'd be too prescriptive about it. Right, let's just cut that. Once I've sewn an inch or 2, I'm happy to cut off my thread.
Are you going to put channel lock on for this or not?
Oh, I took it off, didn't I? With the channel lock on. What's amazing is the line was really straight. I hadn't even realised. Now, just a couple of things here on doing this. I tend to put a hand just ahead of where the machine is, just to put a bit of extra pressure on there so that it keeps the fabric nice and flat. Just going to have to move this. Let's put the ruler base up there. I'm going to need that in a minute. I can also I want to base down the sides. This is really helpful for keeping consistency of the panel as well. Even if I do get a bit of fullness, it's fine. I just want to make sure it's held in place. So I'm just going to go a little bit more. It's just hasn't been cut totally straight. So I'll put on the vertical channel lock. take the channel lock off, pull some extra thread. I can just cut that off by taking the machine to the side. Unlike your studio frame, this is not very flat, so it does sort of move around a little bit when you take the machine up. And then I'm going to put my side grips on, attaching them just to the backing, not to the top and backing. There we go. So I didn't have to do like a neat finish when I came to the edge of the quilt. It's the edge of the quilt. It's fine. It's going to be cut off. It's going to be part of the binding, so I'm not too worried about that. There we go. We don't want it to be stretching the backing, so I've just got that one a little too tight. On the new Studio 3 frame, and as an upgrade on this Studio 2 frame, we have these different type of side clamp holders. They're like you get on a boat. What do we call them?
Cleats.
Cleats. See, this is why Pete's here. It's just very useful for remembering the words I've completely forgotten. Now, I'm not going to leave that pin there because that's too close to where I'm going to be stitching. So I'll just tighten out a little bit more. And I'm going to hold this fabric as it comes down. I'm not going to put the side tensioners on. I'd rather do it manually. So here we go. This is the last bit I need to do in terms of the basting for now. And as I progress down, I'll baste it for the rest. So helps if you put it on again. So I'm just keeping it taut. To the extent of the free arm. Take off the channel lock, pull down some extra thread and move it to the side. Then I'm going to talk about the design I'm going to put in this wonky square, this on-point square. Now I've done that top bit, I think I can do the whole thing. When you're doing ruler work, you should be using one of these, which is the ruler base. They're for different machines. They have different sizes for different machines. You've got little lugs each side of the free arm, and those lugs go into this base. So tuck your threads to put it on. You tuck your threads up out of the way, and you put it on over the top of the lugs, and then push it back until it locks in place. Using a sure foot. So the sure foot is a deeper foot, and it's what we use for doing all of our ruler work. It has been a game changer for ruler work from when we had the original. They still call it a ruler foot. Shouldn't really, because actually I hate using rulers with the normal foot because there's such a big chance of slipping with the ruler and getting it underneath the needle. And if the needle comes crashing down on it, you can knock the timing on the machine out. And if that isn't enough to scare the proverbial out of you, then it really should be, because you don't want to have that happen. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the thread at the back, tie the two ends together and pull through for the thread that I want to use for doing this little square. I'm just going to double check I can reach, because when the ruler base comes on some of the frames, it can touch that top, that sort of front bar. This is set actually so it doesn't, but I'm a bit tight there. Wow, it's bang on, pretty much bang on. I'm going to just move it back a fraction, so I'm just going to let that off and just wind that, just to make it a little easier. Tension it up again.
So what are the size of those blocks on this panel? Liz, how big have you done those? Or do you need a ruler? I thought you might remember, having just designed it.
I think they're 8.
I'll get the ruler.
You get the ruler. I think it might be 8 on point. I can't remember. I mean, yeah, I did them so that when I designed it, what I didn't want to do is have the printer scale it or anything, because that's a complete nightmare, isn't it? So it should be a perfect amount of inches. Let's find out. Oh, this is the sample one, so it's slightly different. Okay. Yeah, it's 8. So that bit in there is 8. The side of this, I did change it slightly because it's 5 and...
Okay, so they're square. So the depth is 8?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that fits on every frame then.
Yeah, that was really important.
That's what I was
Good thinking. Good thinking. And of course that was my thought too, Pete. Yeah, 8 inches. Really easy to do. So didn't want to make them too big. Okay. Any questions?
Well, let's say hello to a few more people first, who've joined since the last time. So Di Bell.
Hi, Di.
Karen in Anglesey.
Yes, Karen.
And the lovely Karen. Annette, the handy quilter friend over in Kansas in the USA, who we met at Houston last year.
Oh, yes. Was it Annette that we met in the lobby bit? No, that was...
Oh, she was supporting in one of the classes we were in.
Annette, you were a superstar. You were absolute superstar. It was a pleasure to meet you there. Hope we see you again.
And somebody called Mr. Mark Hyland seems to be watching. You'll be pleased to hear, Mark, we've had a record start to the year. Best ever January. We have
been very, very busy.
Yeah, got to try and keep the boss happy.
Absolutely.
And,
best wishes to you and Suzanne, Mark. It's great to have you here.
Barbara Thomas, who's recently got her new machine.
Fantastic. Oh, yes, Barbara. Yes. Brilliant.
And now Helen Wycherley has asked whether or not the bungee cleats fit on the loft frame as well. Oh, yeah, they do. Come and have a look, Liz. Awesome. We can teach you at the same time.
You see, there's so many great products that come out because Handy Quilter are continually innovating. So this is the new Studio 3 frame, and these are the bungee clamps that they have. So these are really easy to lock and unlock. They go through this single slot here. Okay, so it's fixed at the back. It's a little plate at the back, little screws at the front that hold in place. These cleats are just like you get on a boat, and that's why they're really good, because they're very quick to adjust.
So they come as standard with the Studio 3 frame.
Yep.
If you look at the design of the loft frame here, look.
And now...
those little slots.
It's the same. So the standard for the loft frame is to have these little, I don't even know what you call these, little button things with a little spring inside that holds in place. But actually, those little cleats would be great, wouldn't they?
Yes.
You just take them over the side.
They're available as an extra item. They just fit into the slot in the same way as they do with the Studio 3 frame. They're called bungee grabbers, and they come in packs of 2.
Great. Good job, Pete. Oh, should we just look at... This is the one for the Feathers Workshop.
You want to hold that up?
I will. So this is a double panel, so you'll get one of these.
Yes, that's 2 panels in one.
Yeah, there's 2 panels here. So that has... Starting at the top, we've got our feather practice horizontal and vertical, and I've put a little dashed line on one side, and it can be cut through the middle or across the bottom. So you could have this as sort of 2 separate panels as well at the top. I just did it so I got a bit of flexibility for doing classes that way. We've got triangles as well because we love to fit feathers into triangles, and we got 2 different gradients of wavy line. So this is where you're going to put your feathers into a wavy line, and also I've put in a little mitre there as well. Again, the idea is all the colours of the glide thread that I've curated will work with that panel as well as the other ones. So you just need the one set of perfect practice panels, glide thread packs for that. Now, I've got very, very bright pink thread, as you can see. It's really, really bright. And I want to put one of these lovely threads on here. So I'll probably pick this one for this. So I mustn't forget to check those out of stock. With the packs.
You'd see much better what you're doing if you just leave the pink thread on there, Liz.
You want me to do it in pink?
Yeah.
Do you?
Well, because we're trying to show people what's happening here.
Well,
and
true.
I think it'll just blend too much.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to look nice.
Where there's hope. Hope is the colour of the pink thread, by the way.
Yeah, hope. Yes, I think that's the one that they actually send some of the proceeds to the breast cancer charity in the States.
Yes.
Yeah. Right, let's do this triangle and this square on point. Now, here's the thought that to do this square on point, what design am I going to do? So have a think about it. You don't have to do what I do. Here's my little picture, and when you come on the Rulers and Fills class, you'll get a workbook with sheets that have got these shapes in them so that you can practice them at the right size in advance of coming to your fabric. It's really important to do drawing practice prior to coming to your quilt top. This square on point, I thought would be perfect for doing it's actually in Angela, I mean, loads of people do this, it's not just Angela, but this is Angela's book, Shape by Shape, Free Motion Quilting, and in fact, it's this one on the front that I thought we could do. It's really effective, and it's not difficult to do. Even live on Facebook, hopefully it's not difficult to do. Unusually, you start on the outside, and you work your way in. Here is the how-to. So this is a lovely little dedication from Angela, but she signs she says lovely things to everybody. Right, nice book, really nice book. Definitely recommend it. Squares, triangles, circles. These are all very, very useful for fillers. And great ideas for negative space, borders, hexagons, diamonds. Some of them really, really achievable, even when you're very much a new person to ruler work. And free motion quilting. So this book I used after Angela came over. I think that was in 2015 when she signed my book. I actually finished one quilt in particular. I don't think I would have tackled without the Finish is Better Than Perfect bracelet on my wrist. And honestly, it's really empowering to kind of just go for it. And that's what this panel is designed to do. It's designed for you just to have a go at these different shapes. It's not just a blank canvas where you could just go anywhere. It's not a quilt, so you're not sort of thinking, well, I spent 3 years piecing this with my mum's favorite fabric or whatever. So it's designed to be done, finished, used as a sample so that you can then use it to get more knowledge about how fabric interacts with thread color, etc. And to practice these techniques that you can then incorporate within your quilts in the future. So here's the how-to, and I'm just going to draw this. Have you got that? I just need a smaller ruler. Is there another smaller ruler over there? Is there a smaller ruler like this? But not, it's a bit too big for me to throw around. I just want to doodle on here. That's slightly smaller. That's perfect. Yeah, great. Thank you, Pete. So this is my sort of drawing, but small scale. So I'd use this as a reference. And the way that we do this, I mean, how much, Pete, can you see of this? Not much, probably. Okay, so we start in a corner like this.
That's okay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And decide on what your gap is going to be in order to go around the square. So we're going to draw from here to the edge of the square by whatever gap you decide. So if I do 1/4 inch like this, I'm going to go from there all the way to there, and then I'm going to rotate my ruler and I'm going to do the same again. So I'm literally getting that gap, so it's 1/4 inch.
So from your finish point from the last line.
Yeah, like that, as long as it's consistent. Again. And again, so you've got to have it on that side. And from there to there. And keep going. You've got to have it so that you've always got that measurement to there. And come in again. And again. And you can see it building. I think this is a very popular design because it looks really effective. Now, I have done this by also having a square in the middle, and that looked really good too. So just rotate that around like so. And this will teach you also handling a ruler at different angles, which is a really good skill to have. I'm just going to keep going because I'll only sew a little bit of this.
The reason it's so effective is that you're just using a straight ruler and you end up with a design that looks quite curved and interesting.
Yeah. I keep wanting to do it like that, but it doesn't work. Whoop. I didn't quite get the... Hang on. There's a 1/4 of an inch there. And if I don't quite get it right, I do apologise. But you get the idea. Should we do this for stitching? Should we stitch it out, Pete?
Absolutely.
Okay, so you keep going and it kind of, at the end, it comes down to that. You can see it starting to make the curves. Okay, let's have a go. In bright pink. I feel like I should do a proper warm-up, really. Right. Before you stitch out on your quilt, you will want to do a little thread test. And the way that you do that, using the same wadding, backing, and parts of the quilt top fabric that you are using, just do a little test of loops and pointy things. So again, I've pulled up my thread using needle down, needle up. I hold both thread ends, not too tightly, there's got to be a little bit of give there, but so that they don't disappear. Then make 2 or 3 securing stitches. I've got it set at 6 stitches per inch, so I don't want that for when I actually do my quilting. I'm going to have 11, and I'm going to set it to my ruler work setting. So 11 stitches per inch, and cruise or continuous, that's the C setting on some machines, of 50 stitches per minute. So now let's just do some loops and sharp bits. I just want to make sure what my tension is like. Sorry, it's wandering a little bit. Let's just put the needle down. Now what can we see here? I don't know whether you can see this, but I can see a bit of the pink coming through. What does that tell me? There's a tug of war going on between the tension on the top, the amount of tension that there is on the top, and the amount on the bottom. And at the moment, the top thread is coming through and showing on the back. So what I need to do is I need to tighten the top tension so that less of it shows on the back. So I'll just do that.
So how much did you turn that tension by?
That was about half a turn. You've also got a numeric readout on some machines, which is very useful. So that's nearly all gone. So there's a little dot on the outside of the tension dial on most of the handy quilter machines. So I'm going to turn that by a further 10 minutes of the clock face. There we go. Yeah, a very, very small amount left, so another 10 minutes. One thing you can do is go too far. So if I turn it by half a turn, a whole half turn, I know it's between that point and this point. There we go, pretty happy with that. So I will, yeah, and it feels right.
So on the Amara, we do have that readout of the tension number. It's this one here. So on this particular machine, 57 is the right tension for this machine with this thread combination.
Okay.
But that number will differ
depending
on your machine and the thread and fabric that you're using.
Okay, so I need to pick my ruler next. And preparation preventing poor performance is my mantra, of course. I shall show you a selection of rulers that I could use for this task.
You still haven't quite got the technique of just sending me to do things, have you?
Yeah, well, it's quicker for me to get it, Pete, than me try to explain to you where it is. As Pete hasn't quite worked out what all the drawers are, even though they're named. But it's because I put the stuff in the drawers. So it's a bit like at home, isn't it? Right, this is the ditch ruler. I could use that, but actually I prefer one of these straight ones for this particular task. This is the skinny, 2 by 10 inches. It's also got angle markings, 45 degrees, and that looks like a 60 degree, I think it is. And also like a grid markings here as well, showing 1/2 inch, etc. This is very similar, but it's the 3x12 straight edge ruler. So either of these would work. I'm going to try it with the skinny. So starting in this bottom corner, just the same as I showed you earlier.
So you're doing it in that
Yeah.
square block there on point, yeah?
Yes, but what I'll do is, and I'll just do the tile stitch. And I'm going to set it to needle down so that the needle stops in the work. For ruler work, that's really important. Never use the thinner rulers, like rotary cutting rulers, with your ruler work. You should always use these 1/4 inch thick ones that are designed for long arms. I've also got the grid grip on the bottom, and that stops it from shifting and moving around. You basically got 3 points of contact. There's the ruler against the fabric here, and ruler against the sure foot, and with your hand as well, the amount of pressure that you put on. Those 3 factors determine how easy it is for you to actually move this with control. You're not pressing very hard on this. It's a guide. Okay, so basically with those settings, I'm just going to go along that line. And you shouldn't stitch more, pretty much, than that. Because once you go beyond that, if I kept stitching, and if this ruler was there, it starts to pivot if I've gone beyond my hand size. So don't recommend that you do that.
Liz, can you just drop down this left handlebar and then it'll be easier, better visibility?
Well, can I put it up?
You can put it up.
The reason being is that with the Amara, when you're doing ruler work, it makes sense to get that one out the way because you're using rulers and you're controlling everything through this handlebar. You can also consider on the settings, setting the settings on the Amara so that this is needle up, needle down with the diamond. And then you've got everything accessible just on one handlebar. So that's needle up, needle down, and stop start. So you don't even have to use that handle.
That's one of the advantages of having those programmable buttons, which is available on the Amara 20, the Amara 24, and the Infinity machines.
Stop. With the needle down. And now I'm going to come around here.
That's a great colour combination, bright pink, perfect.
Maybe we should have put that in the glide thread pack.
We're going to see any discrepancies in your work, Liz, I think.
This is Pete. This is what he does.
But I have every confidence in you.
I don't.
Every confidence.
You can make adjustments if you need to. So as I'm coming back down here, I'm being mindful of this bit of the foot. This is hopping foot. You do not want to get anything caught underneath that little ankle. Particularly little finger, she says.
You say that as if you know about it, Liz.
Oh my goodness, it took ages for that to go. Right. Now, I can do 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, an inch gap, depending on the density of the quilting that I'm doing in here, what I'm trying to achieve. So I will do, let me see what aesthetically, I would say, basically don't forget you're 1/4 inch away from the needle anyway. So we've got 1/4 inch, and then on the ruler, the markings are 1/2 inch, 3/4. Okay. So 1/4 inch is if you've got it butted right up. Okay. And then 1/2 inch, etc. So I'm going to do it on the 3/4 because I think that might look right. All the way to the edge stop. Pivot. Put the 3/4 on the next one. Stop. And coming down this way, now this is more tricky this way because you've got to kind of hold it like this. Okay, so I'm looking at my 3/4 here, and I will stop on the edge there. The other way of approaching it, but I'll be right in the way of the camera, would be to come all the way around there and hold it like that. See which you find is easiest. This is why it's good to practice these things. Oh, no.
What's happened?
Didn't do a very good job of that.
Supposed to keep against the ruler.
I know. But I just said there's two ways of doing it, but the camera's in the way. I should have stayed right in front of the camera. Right, so I'm going to go up and down and just move it and just have that as a teaching point. Okay, so
lucky it's practice panel.
Very important to have teaching points. Stop. So I'll do it the other way around. You might want to move the camera next time. Stop. Very wiggly line. Oh, I like this. Right. So, consider bringing this closer to do this when you're as short as I am. So, first of all, I'm going to move this, and I've just loosened off that. The needle's in the work, so the machine is moving with the fabric. That way, I'm not reaching as far or as awkwardly. And it's still quite hard. This direction is going to be hard. Stop at any time. If you're not happy, stop. That was much easier. There we go. Right, and then back that way. You can orient your body as well as your hands. Oh, what have I hit? Right off there. Something is... Okay, because I moved it forward, I've hit the back here. Right, let me just move it back again. Tension it up. Another good learning point. I hit the back of the quilt, Pete. I think this might be how not to do it. See, if I'd been doing it in the colour I wanted to, you'd never see this. And then around. Is everybody learning a lot from what I should be doing instead of what I am doing?
Well, people are liking the design and people are liking the fabric, so that's great.
That is really good. I'm not liking the wavering. What happened was I was up against this quilt bit here, and there was a big bump in it. So we've used it for various things.
So Helen's tempted by the bungee grabbers. We're actually out of stock at the moment, Helen. We're waiting for a new accessory order to come in from Handy Quilter, which is on the high seas, except that it's coming by plane. But that should be with us next week. So if you ask to be notified when it's back in stock, you'll get an email that tells you. So we've also got Mary Beth online. Hi, Mary Beth.
Hello, Mary Beth. Mary Beth is a very important person from Handy Quilter that writes the blog posts and does a great job at them as well. And there's some very interesting blog posts that you can watch on the Handy Quilter site. So we go.
I'll let you carry on with that.
Sorry?
You just carry on with that. So
okay.
Carol is online as well, Carol Watson. So Karen, you'll be busy setting up your new Moxie XL. So yes, it was Carol, I think we've shown you this before, Carol who has done this quilt on her Moxie with this whole cloth, which is fantastic. And she has just upgraded to the Moxie XL, which arrived just this morning.
Brilliant.
You're going to enjoy that extra throat space and the smoothness of that machine, I'm sure, Carol. So we mentioned last week that we had a number of ex-demo machines coming up for sale.
Yeah.
And even though we haven't done the big launch event yet, which is on the 17th of February, we've already sold 3 of them. There are more still available, but this week we've had a few customers to the showroom and somebody else who's just ordered online. So if you are interested in an X-Demo machine, we have them of different sizes, different ages, different prices. Drop us an email.
Okay, so that should have been... Yeah, it's there or thereabouts, Pete. Something went a little wrong at the end.
Let's have a look.
Do you see? Right, so there's a few deliberate mistakes in here. This is not holding it where I needed to, so it wavered. This was because I was hard up against the quilt top and it had got a lump in it, because I'd got a bit of couching just in that place. And when I went up here, I should have gone down to this line, and I went to that line. So here we go. This is my teaching sample of how not to do it, how to do it, with absolutely no way of hiding with the pink thread. But it's unique. It's unique. That's what happens. So next time, I'm going to have a go on the feathers. The feathers I'll feel more comfortable. I will feel more comfortable because I will practice the feathers during the week and I will be perfect feathers by the time I've finished. Now, a couple of other things to mention. We've got, we're going to put on another foundation workshop it was June, the day before Stuart Hillard comes to do his open day. So if you weren't able to book on our foundation in April, because it's now full for stand-up, then have a look at the June date. It's Friday, I'm going to say the 16th. Pete, could you check that? It's not online yet, but it will be probably middle of next week.
I think it is the 16th, yes.
Yeah.
No,
okay.
And it's the 14th.
Oh, it's the 14th.
Foundation workshop is on
14th.
Friday the 14th of June.
Great.
Stuart's open day is on Saturday the 15th.
So what we were thinking was if you were able to come to the foundation workshop, maybe you've had a machine in the next month or you just had it and you can't make the April one, then come along on the June one and maybe you stay over or stay up here and come to Stuart's open day on the Saturday. It will be as entertaining as Stuart's open days always are. I laugh, even if they're the same jokes, I still laugh because Stuart's just very funny the way he tells them. Maybe that's just me. No, I don't think it is. He's a very popular chap. So we are looking forward to seeing him in June again. Good luck, everybody, with all your quilting. We hope that this has inspired you to think about getting some practice panels for you to practice on at home. Why not sign up for our rulers and fills class in February and April, and also the feathers class with Helen, Burnham and I in April, the day after the rulers and fills. You could make it a 2-day affair. Let's hope you're able to get onto your machines as soon as possible. If you're getting stuck, if you're feeling like you are not inspired to get on your long arm, let us know what we can do to help. Sometimes it's difficult for us to know what's keeping you holding you back, but if you need some help, we're always here and we should be able to guide you. Anything else for you to say, Pete, or any questions or any comments from people?
Lots of comments. Carol has got her machine all set up and she's just about to get started, and there are lots of people congratulating her on her upgrade.
It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. You do the most beautiful work and we're looking forward to seeing what you do with the Moxie XL. Great.
And Georgie, who's joined us, says how good the pink thread looks online.
Good, good. Yeah, so Pete was right. Okay, all right. Yeah, it just shows where I made a few mistakes, Georgie. You're so good at ruler work. Georgie's been on a few classes here and she's become extremely good at ruler work. What I noticed as I was going around, it's a practice piece, right? Was that actually there were elements of each of those sides where I felt, oh yeah, I can just do it like this. So get those rulers out, have a go. Just using them, you will learn how to use those rulers. There is no substitute for playing in practice. That's why we've designed these panels for you. Okay, Pete, we're all set. It's 4:05 already. I've been going on like you wouldn't believe it. Talking forever. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody, and we look forward to catching up with you next week. Happy quilting.